Hello and welcome everyone to Weekend Rental episode 82. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. My name is Ryan. As always, I'm joined by Andy.
What's up, bro?
And Nate could not be here due to real world responsibilities, but he may be joining in. We don't know yet. It's either going to be a duo podcast or a late arrival for one of us. We'll see. As always, if you like our content, you can find other geeky related content, whether it be wrestling, beer, movies, music, video games, and more over at geekade.com. What's your geek? All right, let's kick things off. You segued that nicely with the Pro Bro, so we might as well start with the mini topic we assigned ourselves, and that was to watch some wonderful episodes of the long forgotten Pro Stars animated series from the 90s. Which is a animated show where Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky are essentially superheroes, sort of like the Rescue Rangers model, I guess, is kind of how that show plays out.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They all work for Woody Allen?
An old Jewish lady? Yeah. Who has a hot niece?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked how, like, when they're showing, like, their special abilities to it, like, they're never more, they're just human beings, but they have sweet sneakers is basically what it boils down to. Like, that's their only superpower. Sneakers make them pop into rollerblades or fly or have suction cups on their feet, because that makes you a superhero. And, I don't know, this show got, like, I think one run. Like a 1-season run looking at it. Even though it stars all three of those athletes / superheroes, none of them voice their characters. You only see them in the intro and then through some like in-between Q&A sort of skits, although Jordan appears to not have given any...
bothered.
He was too busy selling sneakers. He couldn't show up for that.
Yeah. So you got Bo Jackson, who is pretty entertaining, and then you got Wayne Gretzky. They were not filmed together. You could tell that they were trying to film them different days in different sets or something, but still try and make them talk back and forth. It's not good. It's just like 2 days, maybe like 1 day of shooting for each of them, and then trying to edit conversations out of whatever you shot. Yeah.
And like all the kids' questions are shot on like the shoddiest, like low res VHS of the day. It's so bad. And then like the realization too that like Wayne Gretzky is basically just pro Jared, but he plays hockey was like an eye opener. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Are they cousins? I'm not sure.
He's even more boring too.
Yeah. And we watched for our, to do our thorough research, we chose to watch the first 3 episodes. And I found out that the intro to 2 of the episodes was the same, but one of them has an awful ripoff of Queen's "We Will Rock You," which I found out was actually the original intro. I assume before Queen sued the ever living shit out of them, and they slowed it down and made it even a worse intro about each of these athletes and how they play their respective sports, because that's important to the show.
Yeah. They never show them actually playing any of the sports that they play.
No.
They might have the tools of the sport, but that's about it.
And I feel like they just went with Bo Jackson because he was like 2 sports. He's like, oh, we can not pay one more athlete because he played baseball and football. This was before Jordan had gone on his retirement baseball stint, I believe, well before that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been good if they had like Jordan try and do something with a baseball bat and they failed at it. Yeah,
the pro fails just didn't ring the same as Pro Stars. So that didn't happen.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, like getting Bo Jackson, but I guess who do you get for football? I don't know. Brett Favre.
Yeah, the only and they kind of mentioned it in the one of the episodes, like who would you have as another pro star if then somebody said Nolan Ryan. And I was like, that was my first thing. I was like, of course, he was legendary back in the day.
Yeah, but he was also 40 some at that
Yeah.
time. That would have been funny, like grumpy Nolan Ryan along with the other guys.
You thought Jordan couldn't give a shit to do an interview.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, that would have been good.
yeah. I mean, animation-wise, it's fine. It's very, like, of the time. It's almost like a cross between... I felt like it was like almost a cross between Inspector Gadget and the real or like the Ghostbusters animated series. Like it felt kind of like right in there, like not too serious. Yeah, for sure. When it was Deke did a lot of that stuff back then. So,
yep. Which that ending every time, even tonight, my son was watching it, and that part comes up, and he's like, "Is it Dick or Duke?" I'm like.
Yeah, as a kid, we all knew. We're like, this is funny because it's a dirty word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like intro episode was just hilarious too. We were talking a little bit before the podcast, but like, so every one of these episodes is set up loosely in the same way where like a kid reaches out for help. But like in the very first episode, the pilot, if you will, this kid, they get a VHS cassette tape, the Pro Stars do, and they pop it into their VCR. They play it. Never mind how long it would have taken to record this VHS, mail it, and then for them to watch it and them to leave and go like respond to this. But it's this little kid saying how his dad was abducted at the like Baseball Hall of Fame or like Sports History Museum or whatever. So immediately they take off to find the kid just sitting by himself on the stairs of this museum. Like, which, you know, in the real world would have played out over several weeks.
Yeah, so this whole time he thought his father abandoned him.
Right. His mom clearly gives no shits. She's just leaving him at the museum.
Yeah.
And then, like, they always have to have, for whatever reason, and it makes no sense other than cartoons, but, like, every episode has to have, like, a stupid supervillain and like some absurd name. And like the first episode is the best because it's like Jordan just walks in. He's like, I know what's going on here. He's like, Count von Clapia-Flurpfurfen. I knew it was you. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? No one's ever heard of this person.
Yeah. First episode. And they don't even explain any of like
the
gym or anything, like how they got there, or there's no origin story at all of why these three guys are hanging around. And it's probably something you didn't question as a kid, but now looking back at it, like, this is really weird.
Yeah, it's clearly just a licensing deal that some very major athletes did, and they thought they felt good about it because clearly it was like at making kids learn lessons. Like,
it's all about helping kids,
right? Like if your dad's abducted by robots from a psycho ginger guy, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Sea creatures pulled your entire island underwater and hid them. They can breathe. Who cares? It's fine. Not to mention like the borderline like racist tone that entire second episode had with those.
Yeah.
I don't think that flies in 2020.
Yeah. The Jewish stereotype was one thing right away. And then that second episode jumps into whole nother realm there.
Yeah, that doesn't work nowadays.
No.
That's for sure. And then I love like the like Captain Planet part where they're all diving into the sea because this Aboriginal kid's like entire island has been abducted by like robotic sea creatures. So they go underwater and find a sunken pirate ship, and Wayne Gretzky realizes that there's a camera underwater because that would happen back in like 1992. And he's like, don't worry about it. I got this doohickemer smoke thing. And he throws it a puck. And they're like, and Bo's like, ho, ho, ho. What about that? That's going to pollute everything. Wayne, he's like, don't worry about it. It's a retractable smoke thingamajig. Like, well, it's fine then because we care about the environment. It's so bad.
Well, I kind of love Gretzky too because he's kind of like the Aquaman. He's like, I can help as long as I can skate or do something. Yeah. Like, as long as I can skate around, I can help.
And then we haven't even talked about how like Bo, this is in the height of like the Bo knows Nike campaign. So like literally 3 times in episodes, Bo knows hot dogs, Bo knows marine aquatics. Like it's so stupid. I don't know if they got paid every time he said it.
Yeah. I wonder if he owns that, like saying or something.
Maybe.
Man,
somebody got paid every time it was said for sure with the rate that they used it. And then Jordan's like character in the whole show is like so underplayed outside of just like the segments.
there's there's nothing special about him in the show. He's just like a normal straight dude, and it's
Yeah.
just like, what? I don't know.
In the first episode, he basically like screws the entire thing up, and like is the boob at the end who like has no way out.
Yep.
By the time we got to the third episode that we had intended to watch, I had lost like virtually all interest in this, and I was like struggling to make it further, because the third episode is the best, because there is an evil, whatever that guy's crazy name is. His whole plot is to replace athletes with robots, because then he makes all the money. And then I loved Wayne's joke of like, what? First they're going to replace all the athletes with robots? What next? Librarians? I'm like, oh my God. What are we doing here? And that's about when I was like, nope, I'm going back to my life. I can't finish this.
We kind of have replaced librarians
With robots, you're right.
And esports is kind of robots.
I mean, in 2020, sports robot leagues would be pretty welcome, I think. I mean, we got Blazeball, but speaking of which, I'm rich on that because I hadn't logged in a couple seasons. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm sitting like $5,000 on that. Yeah.
Wow. Just do it. Just if you don't plan on playing too much, just do it on one game. Can you just like?
I would have to up my ability for what I can bet, but I bet I can get that pretty high with the amount of money I have. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Was Pro Stars the nostalgia trip, or was it more of a God, I wish we hadn't done this sort of thing?
No, I thought it was interesting. At least I don't know if
exists?
I don't think it was anything good. There was some like entertaining things, like some really bad lines. Like I remember in the first one, Wayne Gretzky's like, "What's up there?" or "What's that?" Oh, that's where they keep the world's largest basketball. Was one of the lines.
And then it falls down the stairs as basketballs that are that large do.
Yeah. It's just some really dumb things in that show.
Yeah.
But yeah. The mom is probably the star of the show.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, this could only exist back then. I mean, Pro Stars is definitely a product of its time. And it's as cringy and 90s focused as you would expect. It has not aged well, nor should you expect it to have aged well.
Yeah. I think we've gotten to the point a little bit better that maybe athletes aren't the role models people expected them to be all the time. Although these are pretty outside of Jordan's gambling.
Didn't Bo have some controversies? Or
did
am I
he?
crazy?
I don't know. Like he just like sits in his garage and makes like fishing tackle now or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Is he still alive? But yeah, he must be.
Yeah, there's a documentary on ESPN about him. Yeah, he's just kind of hangs out and does his own thing now.
As you do with that much money.
Yeah. The only real person in there was Marv Albert. He was in the first episode, the sportscaster. That was before he was starting biting ladies.
Oh, wow. He bit ladies, huh?
Oh, yeah. He got into a lot of trouble like a few years after this. Biting ladies, and then he was kicked off the airs, but I think he's back now. I don't know.
You can bite ladies and come back from that?
Yeah,
That's the world we live in?
Yeah. Well, he did a lot of worse stuff than... the biting was just the start.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pro Stars, I guess, from our retro review or retro retrospective is just maybe watch a couple.
Yeah, it's 90s as hell. Like all the graphics and shit on there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And the kids. Wow.
Yeah, wouldn't hold up. I like how you segued to the kids. Wow. Yeah, it feels like bad YouTube status, like videos now. Like those in between segments. They're pretty cringe.
Yep.
And damn it, Jordan. When you sign on for a deal, you should maybe do a couple videos.
Do you think it knows this exists? Like,
yeah, that's a good question. With everything he had going on at the time, he clearly didn't care. It was probably like a publicist or somebody who was like, yeah, you're in that. Oh, okay. Sure.
Like if you got him to autograph a DVD of this, Would you
Are
even
there
know?
DVDs of this, or is there even VHS of this?
I
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
wondering. There's definitely not a DVD, I bet. There's probably
Yeah.
a VHS somewhere that exists.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just a bummer that they didn't show up in the cartoon rescue, whatever you call
Rescue.
it. Oh, back in the day when they had all the cartoon characters come together for Hey, Don't Do Drugs.
Oh,
You remember that? Oh,
I don't.
it was like Garfield and the Ninja Turtles and Bugs Bunny
Why
all in one
Garfield?
show.
Why Garfield?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could bring it back to 2020. There's some news that happened today, this afternoon, that we should talk about, and that's we finally got prices on one of the next gen consoles. So we know now officially, I think thanks to some leaks and Microsoft having to play their hand, that November 10th, the Xbox Series X will drop for $499. And then they're much more neutered as far as like computing power console. The Xbox Series S will drop same day, $299. It has 4 teraflops of processing power instead of the 12 that the Xbox Series X has. It does not have an optical drive, and it only has 512 gigs of SSD storage. But those are some pretty good price points. I mean, there's a huge gap in what you're getting, but those are some good price points for next gen console, I think, for the holiday season.
I mean, if you're guaranteed to be all the way through the next gen at $300, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously going to be playing the ugly,
Yeah.
like 720p version, 20 frames per second of whatever's out on the other stuff. But yeah, I think combined that, you combine that with their Xbox Game Pass platform, which we just heard today also in other news that EA Play is rolled into that. So there's an additional set of games that come with that now. It's not a bad way to get into next gen. And like Andy and I were talking a little bit, is like I don't plan on buying the Series X because I've got the PC and Game Pass, but for $300, if I wanted to put these games and play them on Game Pass in a different room in my house and just like continue playing a game that I started on my PC, like $299 is not that's like a second console type price, right? Like that almost hits the sweet price of the Switch. Like, yeah, I'm gonna choose a main machine, but then I'm also gonna have like this other thing. Like if PC is my main thing, Series S doesn't seem so bad as my backup, right?
Right. It kind of makes it's kind of weird because it kind of becomes that, right? Like that's like for me it was like, oh, do you get Xbox or PlayStation? Well, now it's like for the big ones you get the PlayStation because it's going to have the better exclusives anyway, usually. Um and yeah, then you can just get this for a little bit cheaper and have both.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I really think this is going to put the pressure on PlayStation. Obviously there's no disparity in hardware performance other than the optical drive between the two models we've seen from the PlayStation 5, but if they think they're going to come in at a price point that's higher than 500, and then if they aren't going to put at least $150 price gap in between no optical and optical, I think they're going to look pretty bad. I mean, 350 I think is probably the max you can ask for the discless version at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna do more than that for the discless.
I think they'd be nuts.
It's $50 less, I bet.
They have nothing though. They have nothing. No games, no reason, no ecosystem, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. You can justify it more with the Xbox, I feel, because you've always got Game Pass, like this whole library, but what do you have with PlayStation? You're still buying everything ad hoc. Yeah, they got PlayStation Now, but realistically, that's not set the world on fire.
I wonder what they do with PlayStation Plus after this, because like Xbox kind of just like, you don't need to pay online anymore. It's just part of Game
Ultimate?
Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. It's interesting though. I think we'll probably hear, if we don't hear something from Sony yet this week on pricing, I'd be surprised if we go through all of next week now that it's been announced. I just don't feel like they can sit and let Xbox have like pre-orders coming and like a set price
Oh yeah,
without getting into that ring, you know.
yeah. When does their September 25th? I think they start, right, pre-orders.
Yeah, soon. Yep, 2
So
weeks.
yeah, Sony's got to get their price out there before that, I would imagine.
Yeah, you would think so. If they, I mean, and they got to get it at the right price if they want to get
Yeah,
those dollars. So
and I'd
yeah, I
be
don't know.
allowing pre-orders the same day, if not sooner.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Microsoft's kind of come in and like shook the model up a little bit with this. You know, I'm curious to see how they can feasibly support such a huge hardware gap in a quote unquote, you know, same gen system. But I mean, I guess if they can, they can. But it's it's a lot, right? I mean, it's basically just a diskless Xbox One Series X or Xbox One X. Sorry, because
Yeah.
again, the naming convention is stupid because it's Microsoft. So, which also that kind of makes sense is why they canceled production on the X. You know, this is. I mean, they're probably using a lot of the same architecture to go into the Series S.
Oh yeah. And what's the point? Like once this comes out,
Right.
why have the X on the shelf anymore? When this is
Yep.
out, because it's like it'll still play the old games probably. So just yeah, and it's the same price. So
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta wonder, like, if they get like a third party who like really pushes the hardware, like, what's that gonna look like on the S? I don't know. We'll
yeah.
see. Time will tell, I
Well, and
guess.
then does it drag it down too? Because by forcing all your third parties to account for
Right.
that too.
Well, and that's the other thing too is like the S. When you really think about it, like if you're looking at it from like a PC thing, like what is that like? Maybe a moderate PC because like we got the new graphic. Well, that's other news. The new graphics card's coming now, but it's not even like it wouldn't be premium PC experience. It would be like, well, yeah, you're good for a couple of years, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
So you gotta wonder because there's gonna be such a leap in technology. Like, sure, this might be fine in the interim, like you said, but what are we gonna be looking at in 2022? Is it even gonna be feasible? But I hear people talk about that, like with the PlayStation and the PlayStation Pro, and like certain games, like I can't believe it even runs on the PlayStation. I guess I've never really had an issue, so
Yeah. That's true. I mean, if it comes down to like if it just works on 4K or not, like I think
right,
that's a lot easier to be like, okay, whatever. If 1080p is fine, if you don't have a 4K,
right.
that's not that big a deal. But once it gets into processing power
8K,
of
60.
like yeah, AI and all that shit, then it changes the game a lot.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. And you wouldn't think other publishers outside of first party would really want to play that game of like a stripped down to beat hell version plus the premium version. Like that's not a good look for your studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I think it will be a home run for the holiday season, though. Like I really do. I think a lot of people will. I mean, mom and dad can buy a $300 machine, or grandma and grandpa for their kid. That's the next gen hottest thing. That's kind of unprecedented as far as the last three generations outside of Nintendo. Nintendo's always had like the cheaper price point, but
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah. I just need some games for it now. That'd be good.
Yeah, maybe eventually. Don't worry, it's backwards compatible. It's fine.
Yeah. That's a
Oh,
bummer. Like that would have been the home run, is if you allowed your Xbox One X people to just buy like a upgrade kit, just turn their system into a next gen system.
it's like a USB drive out of like a small like Master Chief helmet that you just like
Yeah.
flip out and stick into your X.
Yep.
Sweet. Yeah, you almost got to kind of wonder why they didn't. I mean, really, the X is like the premium version of the S then, because it has a disk drive. But, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, we're being oversimplifying on it. We are aware there's a difference, probably architecturally, but still, because I'm not wrong, right? Like the X was 4 teraflops, right? Was it not? Like that was the standard processing power. Like
I don't even know Yeah.
I feel like I heard. Let me Google teraflops.
I thought the X was slightly more powerful than this thing. Or equal, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing. just
Xbox
without.
One X teraflops. 6 teraflops.
Okay.
This is worse than the. This is worse.
Yeah.
Damn you. I don't understand this.
I don't know. Has that ever happened? Upgrading to the new generation, but getting a worse console?
I mean, the Wii U happened, so yeah.
And that was still HD.
I loved the Wii U. I don't mean to shit on it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite failed console.
Well,
No,
yeah.
that's not true. Jaguar's my favorite failed console. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Nintendo, we kind of got to get into this, right? The
Ooh.
35th Super Mario Brothers anniversary. Rumors all year long. Presumably this was happening at E3 and getting announced, and things weren't super delayed, but it's the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. It's a whole bunch of shit coming from Nintendo that's Mario Brothers related. Most of it you can't buy for more than 5 months, because that makes sense. Thanks, Nintendo.
They cared more about the year of Luigi than they did the
Yeah.
35th anniversary of this.
This is like celebrating with your fans, but just laying them out with a big donkey punch. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so let's go through the list. They threw Super Mario Brothers All Stars at us on the online service for Super Nintendo. So like, let's all clap and applaud like this isn't the 100th time we've gotten that. Thank you. They announced a Mario 35, which is a Battle Royale Mario Brothers, where things do stuff, but that's only available in October through March.
That looks interesting, though. Like, but maybe for a night, and then after that, I would be done.
And why limited? Why can you only celebrate from now till March? Is it not special afterwards? Like, I don't understand.
That's not even a year.
I found out they shut down a fan project like a year ago that was essentially this. And then they stole this and put this out as Mario 35. So
well, they did that with the Metroid thing, and yeah, they've been doing that
64,
for a while.
Yeah. And then we got the Game & Watch, which they right off the bat, limited quantities, limited. If you want it, fuck you. Scalpers are gonna have it all because they're limited. We know you love Mario, but you're all assholes. We're not going to give you what you want. Can't possibly have open pre-orders to give as many to people as they deserve. We've got enough of your money, so we're going to make it limited. Go suck a dick is basically what Nintendo said. And they're giving you the original Game & Watch with a color screen that has Super Mario Brothers and the Lost levels on it, and also functions as a watch. And it's going to be $50. And good luck getting one because Nintendo hates you and they don't want you to celebrate with them. Mario's 35th.
What a weird thing anyway. Like, celebrate the Game & Watch by playing a game that was never on the Game & Watch.
Well, and throw the All-Stars ROM on there. Like, you already gave it to us for free. Let us play the better versions. Nobody wants that. Stupid.
Just remake the Game & Watch. Didn't they make like 4 Game Boy games of Game & Watch? Like,
you're
put
right,
those
with
on there
Mario,
too.
yes, and they could have. You're right. They could have celebrated with a line, like all the ones that there were several that had Mario. You're right. This is stupid. And the dumb thing is I'm going to do everything I can to get 2 of them because I'm not going to open one because they're limited. Thanks, Nintendo. Then I'm going to fuck around with the other one and be pissed that I spent $100 on them.
Yeah.
And then,
do you think those will be even in the stores?
No,
like, that doesn't seem like a thing that would.
No,
retailers would be like, "You're selling what now?"
Yeah, this is if it. I mean, I think they intend to send it to stores, but I think this is going to be like first 4 waves of Amiibo fuckery. I think good luck, or NES Classic, good luck. You're not getting this.
Yeah.
If you don't hit the pre-order as soon as that thing becomes available, you're screwed.
Probably.
So take days off work, kill your firstborn, whatever you got to do to make this happen. I guess if you really need it. I really want it. I don't want to deal with the bullshit. As someone who went through the Amiibo bullshit and the classic console bullshit, I'm sick of this. Nintendo understands the demand. They know how to gauge it. They can make enough of them. Just, what are you doing?
It's upsetting that they're stating it up front now, what they're doing. Like,
yes.
Like, at least with the consoles and the Amiibo and stuff, like, you don't know. You don't know if it's just, like, really high demand or if there's a weird supply issue or whatever. It's just like, no, this is their strategy all along. We're just saying it right to your face now.
It's like showing your kid his birthday cake and then smashing it on the ground in front of him because you're a dick. That's what it is. And then, so keeping with that theme, they announced the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which is Mario 64, which, as you all know, in my opinion, sucks. Super Mario Sunshine, which, as you may not know, but in my opinion, sucks. And then it comes with Mario Galaxy 1, but not the better Mario Galaxy 2, because it couldn't just give us 2 decent games. They had to give us 2 pieces of shit and a game that we've all played not that long ago. It looks great running on the Wii U, since we're talking about it, with the up-res. And it looks like they did very little to nothing to update these visually, other than some 16:9 modes, which Andy pointed out prior to the podcast. They didn't even give 16:9 to Mario 64, is that correct?
Yeah, Mario 64 looks like it might have a slightly higher resolution, but other than that, it's just pretty much a ROM dump.
So all you're doing is drawing into like what a polygonal fucking nightmare that thing is in 2020, instead of like trying to smooth out the textures. So that's, don't get me wrong, I ordered 2, because limited, you can only buy this September through March of next year, even only digitally. It's not bad enough that they'll only print them physically for 5 months. They want you to understand that you can no longer buy on the eShop after that date either. So big old fist up the anus there from Nintendo. That's great. I don't know. I question their logic on this. Again, we talked a little bit about the Mario All-Stars repackaging for the Wii and what a sad celebration of Mario that was. And this is almost as bad. I mean, it didn't seem like they're doing special bundles. It didn't seem like they're going to do creator and developer interviews or cool backstories. It's just a rehashing of Sunshine, whatever. We've all bought, whether you like it or not, and I hate it, Mario 64. We've all bought and played on everything, myself included. I can't stand it. I've done it. I don't know why it can't be more than just the games, right?
Mario 64, I like that game. It was mind-blowing seeing that game when it first came out.
Sure.
And they've done nothing with it. Like, they've done how many, like, remakes and a whole bunch of shit with Zelda. And Mario 64, one of their most important games, they've done nothing with except the DS thing. But...
And that's just what I was going to bring up, is like, they did tweak it and make it better for the DS. But this isn't even that version. This is the lesser version. This is the original.
Yeah. Like, they could have done something. Just a little bit. That's all they had to do.
Yeah. And I'm glad people will get to experience Sunshine. Because, let's be honest, the GameCube didn't set the world on fire. That game has never been ported anywhere. But I'm also sad that people are going to get to experience Sunshine. Because that is not... I question if that's a Mario game. And then I question, outside of the fact that it's a Mario game, is it even good? If it was any other character, would this have gotten better than like a 5 out of 10 on an EGM rating scale?
It wouldn't have been as highly regarded, I'm sure, because it's, if it's Mario.
Yeah.
But even that, like, that game is... half the time the camera is like switched around through a wall and all you see is Mario's like silhouette and you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. There's so many times that you die because you can't even freaking see.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they didn't fix any of that.
No. Yeah.
Like, that's all they needed to do is to make it a little bit better, a little bit more playable. I mean, yeah, it's still the water movement. It's always going to be that.
Okay, the water textures, sure, for the time are cool, but I still stand by the Delphines are abominations, and that God should smite them all. I honestly don't know. I think if this had been any other mascot and not a Nintendo product, I think we'd be looking at this in the same regard as like a Tack or a Voodoo Vince. I honestly believe that. I think it's that forgettable and uninteresting.
I think you're right in some regards. Like, the Mario levels are fun, but also suck because of the spatial awareness and all that stuff. But But the ones where you have to chase somebody or clean up messes or, stuff like that, that's just boring as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get on to Galaxy, which is great. Galaxy's great. I love that it's coming to a console where it's not going to necessarily force me to use motion controls. I guarantee you they kept them intact with the Joy-Cons, but I'm sure we'll be able to turn them off.
You'd hope so.
It's just disappointing that when you look at All-Stars includes 4 games. So why wasn't Galaxy 2 included? Like
Right.
Galaxy 2 improves on everything that Galaxy 1 did.
It's like the highest rated Mario game.
Yeah, it totally deserves to be in this collection. And that's ridiculous, because if you've already made the emulation software to bring the 1 over, there's no reason that 2 wouldn't just copy paste, right? I don't know.
So, after the original Super Mario All-Stars came out, they made a cartridge with Super Mario All-Stars plus
Super Mario
Super Mario World. So after this limited run of these games, there's going to be a Super Mario All-Stars plus Galaxy 2.
Damn it, Andy. Why didn't I think of this? This makes so much fucking sense. You're right. Damn it.
That one will not be limited.
It better not be, or I'm going to punch Miyamoto in the gonads. Yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest disappointment I have in all that. Like I said, I pre-ordered 2 copies. I'm probably just going to keep one sealed. My son's very excited. He likes Sunshine. He likes Sunshine for the fact that it's a different experience. He does not necessarily like the game, and he hands it to me a lot to like get through some of the dumb things that happen because of controls, but maybe that's fixed here. So then moving on from that, this is the most questionable thing to me, is like, we're getting a new Mario Kart game, but we're not. I don't know. I'm not even going to look up the name because I give zero shits about this. It's like Mario Kart Living Room Tour or something stupid. I don't know if that's the right name.
Live tour,
yeah, there you go. So you get an RC car, which Nintendo already makes and sells through other manufacturers. This one has a camera on it, and then it links up to your Switch. So your Switch is basically like a drone screen of sorts. And you can race around your living room. But here's my biggest problem with this. It uses AR, so augmented reality. And you can race Mario and Luigi, and I assume there will be other kart characters in this quote unquote like real Mario Kart, but you're playing it on your Switch. So if I'm the dumb kid with the Switch, right, and this thing's driving around my living room, I can't enjoy that anyway, right? You're removing the entire real world part that I am supposed to be enjoying, and I'm just staring at my Switch playing Mario Kart. So if we're doing that, why didn't you just make Mario Kart 9? Why? Do you think mom and dad want to see that dumb cart flipping around the living room? Your dog, your cat's going to go nuts, knock the thing over. It's going to run out of batteries. The kid's going to cry. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's a tech demo.
There's toys all over the track now. Can't play.
I mean, and like the AR parts they showed off were neat, right? Like it was cool, but no, I'm not doing that.
That would be cool outside, like with one of those like 4-wheel drive.
Like gas power, like fuel. Yeah. There you go.
The big Traxxas RCs. That's cool. But in your house?
Yeah, when your options are like linoleum and you have like 5 minutes of drive time, because I guarantee you the battery on this sucks. And it's probably all AA, so it's probably 10 of them.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, Nintendo?
Well, the Labo division had to think of something else.
And and this is an extension of Labo. It's neat. I don't mean to shit on any of this. I'm just extremely frustrated and disappointed as a longtime Nintendo fan. All of these things, even the things I'm crapping on, are fantastic. I'll admit that. Even Mario 64. Don't tell anyone I said that. But this one, I don't get. I don't get the Mario Kart. And then the last one, which I don't think I'm missing any news in between there. There's probably some other stuff. But the big one for me, I've been a huge proponent and supporter of Super Mario 3D World. I think it is, outside of Super Mario Bros. 3, the greatest Super Mario Bros. Game. I stand by that. It is 3 elevated to 3D gaming standards, and it is coming to the Switch. Finally, it's the last major game, really, to get ported. It's fantastic. I'm glad everyone's going to get to play it. Plus, it's coming with like Bowser's like
some expansion, huh?
Yeah, more levels, right? So that's great. It's also coming with 2 cat amiibo, which I'm pissed about because they're so damn cute. I'm gonna have to pre-order them, and I don't want to buy more amiibo. But I love that game, and I want those amiibo. They're cats. I need them.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be good, right? And that's gonna have online multiplayer too, not just couch co-op. So that's a big win as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
So
I think there's what's left on Wii U to even port over. They did Pikmin 3 now, and
yeah,
Amiibo Festival.
That was kind of like just pack it in, just buy all these ports, put the Wii U away.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we miss anything in there?
No, I don't think so. They did announce a new Zelda Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah. Which I thought at first was an expansion. And I was like, because I watched the trailer, right? And I'm like, well, it's weird that they're doing an expansion of this like 2.5 years later. I didn't realize until later that it's a brand new game. So,
yeah. Set in Breath of the Wild. So,
yeah, 100 years before the Breath of the Wild saga, if you will. So,
yeah.
Which, have you played Hyrule Warriors?
I have not.
So it's really good. I mean, it's Dynasty Warriors, obviously, but
yeah,
I don't know. If you like Dynasty Warriors in passing and you're also a huge fan of Zelda, I think you got to do it. You know, it's good.
I just hope it's like hundreds of guys come at you and you swing at them like 5 times and your weapon breaks, and then you're just
oh yeah, that would be brutal, right? Yeah. Hopefully they don't keep that mechanic. It should be good though. I mean, I think just giving people Zelda anything yet this year is kind of, because it's what is the 20th of November that comes out, like right before Black Friday.
Yeah.
So that'll sell. I mean, it's not the same mass market appeal, but it'll be a good holiday filler along with, your Pikmin and these Mario ports. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with the Mario thing. There's no way that they can keep it. They'll say it's limited because you can only buy it in the time frame, but I don't think it's going to be super scarce because like that's their fourth quarter game. That's all they got.
They've done it before though, man. Think of the original run of the All-Stars on Wii U. That was like hyper limited.
Yeah.
They had to re-release it as a player's choice later.
Yeah. But they had other stuff that year, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
This year they don't have shit.
No, they really don't. It's sad.
They're going to get their ass kicked. This especially with the other thing that's competing with the Switch level at $299.
Right. Yeah, that Series S.
I love how they announced that. So like GameStop had their financials and they're like, "Oh, everything sucks. We're losing money hand over fist." And then the Xbox is like, "Hey, our biggest product here is digital only."
Right.
So the same day, coffin. It's like, yeah, GameStop stock is not too pretty right now.
No, that's gonna be. I don't know how they're hanging in there. I've been watching the ongoing Camelot 331 saga too, and he just keeps leaking more of their phone calls. It's just like, man, how's this company working? Like, how do they survive? I don't get it.
Yeah, they'll make it through this launch, and then after that settles down, it's gonna be.
Yeah. I mean, it's been on the wall forever, right? So outside of games, and we might have talked a little bit about it on the last podcast, or maybe after the podcast, but that Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted 3, came out.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I have not seen it.
Okay. So I was not going to watch it, and I've been so frustrated with like available new movies to watch that it was like that Friday that it came out, and I'm like looking on Redbox because I got the app, at home, so you can just download them and stream them there. I'm looking Hulu, I'm looking Netflix, and there's just nothing. I'm like, screw it, $20. Bill and Ted, we're gonna watch it. That is good. That is a good movie. You were kind of on point. I know we talked a little bit about how you were concerned about how does like John Wick become Bill and Ted again? And I will say Keanu, he's got the same length hair, maybe doesn't resonate as much as like an airhead as he probably should have. And there were many times where I'm like, is that John Wick in this movie? Because like he doesn't quite ham it up enough, and it's not as convincing as maybe like previous roles would have been. But it's good. I mean, it's goofy. They don't tread anything like new ground really. And then their daughters kind of play a role in that, and it's just dumb. They go through different times. They see like 15 versions of themselves, which is always hilarious. And I mean, this is destined to like hit the same level of like cult status that the other two films have. And I think that's really cool. So I can't tell people to go out and spend $20 and watch it now, but you know, maybe if you have a passing interest, wait till it's on something that's streaming, or $5 from a Redbox to stream or something.
Yeah. I bet this is actually probably a pretty good opportunity for a movie like this.
Yeah, because what else are you competing against, right?
Yeah. Mulan at 30, you know, like.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they did just come out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was funny. It was like Ryder was in the room as I'm watching it. My wife and I were watching it. I think my daughter had a sleepover that night, and Ryder's playing his Switch. And he just kept calling it. He's like, "What? Why do they keep saying dudes? Like, this is the dude movie." Because, you know, they say dude like every other word.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious. So he's convinced like it's just the dude movie. That's what he calls it now. Which is fitting. So
yeah.
I give it a thumbs up. Speaking of Mulan, did you watch that?
No.
I hate those live action adaptations of Disney films.
Yeah, that one looks okay though, because it doesn't seem like it's a straight 1-to-1. Like They don't even have the Eddie Murphy dude in it, I don't think. But
yeah, Eddie Murphy probably wanted to be in it. And they're like, "No, you're too shitty these days for us to pay you for this."
Dolomite was good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like. Oh, well, I wonder how many people have actually paid that amount to see that.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. Like, I know there's a big push because like a lot of theaters, obviously not in certain areas, had opened up nationally about the time, so they're really touting this as like a back to the movie theater experience. But yeah. I mean, from Twitter, like I shared like how I thought it was a decent movie on there, and like a lot of people kind of like jumped on that and said they watched it too. So I think more than I would have expected. But yeah, I'm sure you won't see like strong numbers on this until it hits like the home market maybe. And
yeah,
I don't know how do people buy Blu-rays anymore? Probably not. So there's that too.
Yeah.
I'm old. I do need to go back and rewatch Bogus Journey. I know we had both talked about how that wasn't the one that like either of us like latched onto, but like I really, other than like the bits and pieces with death, like I don't remember, and that plays a pretty big part in the third one.
Oh,
like, I don't remember a lot of that movie, so I need to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I don't remember hardly anything from it.
Yeah, death is a significant. Well, yeah, he's a significant player in the third one here too. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Huh. Is George Carlin in it?
No,
like a digital George Carlin.
So yes, thank you. They did do the holograph or like hologram George Carlin, and
really,
it was a nice touch. Although they made his daughter that like one comedian actress who's like the bunny-eared person voice from like Bob's Burgers, and which I mean, I'd rather not see her in things, so it was kind of sad that she was the offspring of George Carlin, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, I don't foresee myself going into a theater anytime soon. So
no, yeah, because what do they say? Like an hour, and then like you're kind of screwed, and they're recirculating air, and I just don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I went to the flea market for the first time all summer over the weekend. There were just way like hundreds, maybe thousands of people at the flea market, and I basically like bolted in and bolted out. I'm like, F this, like not doing it. It's stupid. There's like they have a beer stand now at our flea market, and literally the line was like 70 people long. Everyone's like a foot and a half off of each other. Nobody's wearing a mask. Like you people are idiots. So I was in and out. I couldn't deal with it. My anxiety got the best of me. I don't care if it's outside. Some of it's not outside, and I was wearing my mask for all the parts that were not outside, and did not like it.
Yeah.
About one game I bought. I might already own it. I bought Grand Slam Golf by Atlas on the NES, which I don't think I have, but I probably do.
That's kind of a hard to find one.
It's considered very uncommon if you ask a certain NES collector's app, but I believe I probably have it, but I wasn't sure. It was the only one I thought for the price I would pick up because there were a couple others too, but they're like $80. And I'm like, I might have these.
Yeah.
Didn't do it.
Oh.
Wasn't much for games. That flea market has turned into like mini donuts, artisan fucking pickles, and shit. I hate it. Hate it.
Yeah. Well, there's no games anywhere.
No.
Sad to report, one of our favorite places has been completely picked over too.
Oh. I can't. When you told me this, I felt bad.
I know. It's we always make a trip. They have a half off sale early in January,
yeah.
early February, somewhere around there. Leading up to this is when they should have some of their best stock, you would think, because summer's in, they're getting rid of stuff. I don't know. Right before the holidays where they get a lot of stuff bought. And yeah, there was nothing. Like not even like just regular Mario stuff. Just nothing. Just like the Genesis was almost 100% sports games.
Yeah, and do you think it's because like this like just surge of COVID gamers and collectors and
I'm
the
sure,
demand?
yeah. There's people that want to buy stuff and play it, but there's less people that are selling it. I don't know.
Well, and they probably, at least for a period of time, stopped taking trade-ins, I would imagine, like most places did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. Did you find anything on that trip? Like any honey holes in any of these towns you went through? Or
No, that was pretty much the only place that I went. The rest of it was just all rest of family stuff. Which, gotta ask you, have you ever been to Storybook Land?
No, I keep being told that it's this amazing wonderland for children and I should totally see it, but is that true?
Yeah, it's free, it's a cheap day. And it's all right. The only thing is maybe have your kids be aware of what Wizard of Oz is, because half the park is Wizard of Oz shit. So like
it's not the event it was when we were children?
No, it's like my kids have never seen it, and then trying to explain to them what it is, like, and then half-ass not remembering it, and yeah, it's...
Do you think you could get a kid to sit through Wizard of Oz? Like, when we were kids, I feel like it was a big deal, because it was on, like, once a year. Yeah. Once a year, you got to see Wizard of Oz, and everyone, the whole family was in the living room.
Yeah.
But that's been, like, couple decades since that's happened.
Yep.
I don't
they
think
probably
kids...
don't even get to the color part.
No, anymore. They don't have the attention span anymore, man. Yeah. It's instant gratification with frickin' iPads and whatever.
Yeah.
So the whole thing's free, really.
Yeah, you have to pay for the rides.
But... Okay. A lot of people there?
Yeah. When you get there early, there was like nobody there, but by the end of the day. That thing is like, it's like the Portlandia of put a bird on it. It's like, instead of that, it's just like put a slide in it.
We can pickle that.
But yeah, it's pretty much just like everything that, I don't know, Tin Man, make it a slide, you know.
So what made you
make it a slide?
What made you choose like middle of nowhere, South Dakota as your destination for this family trip?
Basically, we had a weekend, and that's
long weekend. Made it happen.
Yeah.
And then you got to touch on Nate's home turf too, and eat some amazing burgers.
Yeah. We were heading through there, just wanted to get some ice cream, and yeah, there ain't nothing in that town.
There's a gas station. They might have frozen things.
Yeah.
You can get some minnows while you're at it.
It's been a long time since I've been through there, but yeah, it's pretty much just a Bobcat place.
Oh yeah.
Factory, and that's it.
Pretty much. Yeah, so I suppose you came up north through Aberdeen and then hit that and then like cut through Wap and back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad stretch of road.
Yeah, not much.
No, it's not great. We didn't do a whole lot on Labor Day weekend. We went up to my sister-in-law's lake place, but like for those of you who don't live in the Midwest, like I don't know what happened. Usually we have decent weather through like mid-September, but this Labor Day weekend we dropped from like 80s during the day, like high 80s, and like I don't know, maybe like high 60s at night, and then all of a sudden you're lucky if you're hitting 60 during the day, and it was getting to like 5 degrees above freezing at night, which was insane. So basically at that point, like the lakes instantly chill off, so there was no swimming. We tried fishing, but I think fishing was a little wonky too, because that was
Fish
a huge...
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a huge temperature shift, right? They're not sure if they should be up like off the ridge lines or, it just did not work. It was kind of miserable. And, the bugs are still bad because they haven't completely froze off yet. So fires were a pain. I did. We were like 30 minutes from where Justin, former podcaster, Weekend Rental podcast, lives. So I was like, well, screw this. We didn't get together for MGC this year, so I drove up and like just stood in his driveway and we just bullshitted for like 90 minutes, which was nice. But other than that, it was kind of an uneventful weekend.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to do.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I was not prepared for like a 40-degree swing in the matter of 3 days. That is not. I guess that's the joys of living in the upper Midwest, right? You never know. It could be shorts weather one day and snowing the next.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, snowing is shorts weather, so it just depends, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess we're supposed to have an uptick. Like next week's supposed to be back in like the 80s and stuff. Okay. So might get a little tail end of summer, but otherwise, I'm worried we're gonna have snow here in 3 more weeks. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see? Obviously, this news has been out there a little while, but Battletoads got a reboot on Xbox from Rare, but I Am 8-Bit decided they were going to re-release the cartridge for the NES.
It's Data East, so why not, right?
Right. So they're doing the cartridge, and it's like 3 different colored shells, and they're charging $100. So just to put this in perspective, on a good day, well, I don't know COVID prices, but on a good day, you'd be lucky to sell a Battletoads like loose cart for $35. So I don't know what the hell they think they're doing, selling this for $100. I mean, they're obviously trying to cash in on the hype of this re-release, but
the 2-day hype there was of that game,
right? Then everyone like, have you played it?
Yeah, my son played it for a while, and then it got to the parts that got a little bit more repetitive. I mean, it's definitely got some decent writing in there and some good jokes, but other than that, it's
yeah. Well, I know Nate played through it and liked it, but like I watched a live stream of it. And then when I saw them get to the Speederbike version, I'm like, you're just doubling down on the shittiest part of those games for the sake of nostalgia. Like,
you got to have something in there, though. That's what people expect, I think.
It was like a 20-minute segment, though. I swear.
It's way too long.
So I was just like, screw this. Like, I don't need to dust that off. I like, to your point, I did appreciate the aesthetic and like the animation and the dialogue, but I don't know that it's going to have a lasting impression on anyone. And I mean, I'll say it again, like, Battletoads is a very nostalgic game on the NES. Battletoads is not a quote-unquote good game on the NES. It has good graphics, tries a lot of interesting ideas to varying degrees of success, but ultimately, you have to just look back and realize why you liked Battletoads, and that is for the exact reason the marketing department liked Battletoads. Because you loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this just piggybacked on that. So let's not give it more credit than it deserves. Like, I'm sorry. It doesn't.
Yeah. I that's where I think the remake did do some things right, where they were basically, they think they're badass, superheroes, and everybody else is like, who the hell are you people?
They've forgotten about them. I like that. It's smart. Oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, it's cool to see, like, and there is nostalgia for Battletoads, but it's not, I never looked back on it, like, with reverence as far as, like, an enjoyable experience, but I was still the kid renting it and still loved the characters. But again, I loved them because I like TMNT, and this was, like, the B Squad, right?
Yeah.
It's like hitting up the strip club at noon instead of 9 p.m. You deal with it. It's still exciting, right? Well,
yeah.
Wow, sorry. It was bad.
Battletoads is pretty much dead, I would think. After this, like...
Well, and wasn't there supposed to be a PS2 era Battletoads that got canned? Like,
oof.
3D, or am I wrong on that?
It could be, but that would be rough.
Yeah. I don't know. So what else have you been playing, if you haven't been playing Battletoads?
Well, another Game Pass game called Spirit Fair, which it's basically Harvest Moon on a boat.
How do you farm on a boat?
You build fields on the boat. You have build houses for the people on the boat, and then you
Where do you
take
get
care
the
of their
dirt
jobs.
on the boat?
I don't know all the answers here, but it's in the land of the dead or something.
Oh.
I don't know. You're carrying dead people around to heaven. I don't know.
What?
But it's kind of what it is. I don't know. They're animals, but they
So are
know
you playing as death? Like you're the
kind
farer?
of. Yeah. You're kind of the guy.
So do you
that
just like
takes the
constantly
boat.
pick up like random people who like trade with you and like have conversations and
Yeah, you build them a house and like they do some things on your ship for a while, and then eventually after a
They go
while
to
they're
heaven
like,
or hell?
"Take me to heaven."
then you just throw them overboard or what?
Yeah, take
Dude,
them to.
that's cool.
Yeah, I the best part is though really that like it's 2-player local,
Okay.
so it's like
Split
me and
screen
my
or is it like
no
all
all
in
in one,
one? Okay.
which gets really crazy because you upgrade your boat to like gigantic
Huge
size.
proportions.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I
So
was gonna say. That only works well if you're all on the same screen, but then
yeah,
so eventually you're fighting with your cohort, or in your case your spouse, I'm assuming, about
yeah,
where you're going in the boat.
yeah. You see the entire boat and you can't hardly see where you're at if you spread
Oh, it
out
does zoom
too
though.
much.
Okay.
Yeah, it zooms out. Yeah,
Gotcha.
but yeah, it's my wife has been absolutely addicted to it every single night. It's like she's turning the Xbox on. We're like, let's play this. It's kind of
Nice.
crazy.
It's kind of fun to get one of those games though, where you can
Yep.
both get into it, and you're not getting yelled at for how terrible you are yet.
Uh,
Is it a fresh wound?
it's not so much that I'm terrible at something. It's just I'm not. My priorities aren't the same priorities as hers sometimes. So
yeah.
but such is life, right?
Luckily, that doesn't happen in marriages ever, so you're not used to that.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's cool though. That sounds interesting. What graphical style is it? Is it like a retro style or?
It's like hand drawn. It's the animation in it is insane. The amount of animation that's basically a cartoon almost.
How detailed are the systems? Like, is this something that like a grade school kid could walk into too?
Yeah.
Or okay,
Yeah, for sure. There's like a minor amount of swearing. Some of the characters swear a little bit, but other than that, it's.
Well, that's all right. I tell my kid he's a fucking piece of shit every day. I don't. Everybody, it was a joke. It was a parent joke.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, I bet my son would like that. Yeah. Actually, we've talked about it on the podcast before, but that Death Road to Canada, I ordered a physical version. It was only available on the Switch yet, or the PS4 yet, and got that in. And my son and I, he just started first grade. He loves it. He can't read the text, so I'm reading the options to him, and where we're going, like if we're going to Yalmart or if we're just gonna keep driving. And he loves it. Like, so we've been having a blast. And we built. So, like, it's more fun if you build your own characters. So we built characters after ourselves, and then we're like trying to build up their stats with the points we're earning on each run. And still no successful run to Canada. We did find. As I was telling Andy, I was annoyed. We found Garfield on the side of the. He's not Garfield, but he's clearly Garfield. We found him on the side of the road tonight, and as you all know, I despise Garfield, but he was in our party, and he like the line of dialogue right before I came on the podcast because we had to turn it off for the night was Garfield mumbles something about hating, and then it sounds like what might have been Mondays. It's like, damn it is Garfield. It sucks. So it's funny, like the pop culture references they make in that game, and yeah, just the humor's great. The game's the basic like zombie slaying gameplay is decent enough too, but it's just kind of like when you get a good roll on something, it's really, really fun.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I got my son murdered because we were at Yalmart working with a trader, and the trader had a chainsaw, and she wanted, you could leave, you could you could trade for this thing, you could trade for that thing, or you could tell her to calm down. And my son had to tell her to calm down, my son's character. So I was like, let's do that option. And then she chainsawed my son to death. So that's what happened. I was stuck with Garfield after that. And like, luckily when your character dies in that game, you just move on to the next character. So you lose your items and your plus stats, but it's still game on as long as you keep somebody alive.
Yep. But your son was Garfield. How'd that make you feel?
Not good. And I know that I'm going to have to go back into that game and continue it through that run. And you know what? Just to spite me, Garfield to spite me, we're going to probably get to Canada on this run. And I'm just going to have to admit that Garfield maybe doesn't suck as bad as I thought.
Yeah. Well, Garfield, he probably has a felony. He can't get into Canada. It's fine.
Does it matter in the apocalypse? Yeah. I love playing a game like that too, like in these times. It's like, yeah, this is basically like COVID the game. Like COVID the roguelike. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm doing. So yeah. That's been good. Nothing new other than that though. Some more Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk is once I got in there and I changed the move sets to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I know I was a little iffy on the controls. It was the controls and it was me. So once I set it to where like I was comfortable with, I kind of left off really liking that series at 2, and yeah, feels great. Good game. So
Yep.
I will be playing much more of that. I just get irritated that I have it on the PS4, so my controller dies like every 5 minutes because can't get a PS4 controller to hold a charge worth a damn. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that one too. I just, with the trip we had and then coming home and having this other game where it's just taking up any moment that I have, that
yeah.
be tough to be like, not tonight, honey. Playing Tony Hawk.
Plus, kids are back to school. I loved the Facebook post your wife did with like the only in 2020 with the kids back to school pictures, like one without the mask, one with the mask.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yep, it is 2020, isn't it?
Pretty much how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
I've been super pleased with our school because they're doing I don't know how it is for you guys if you're split like we are, but we're remote X amount of days and we're in class X amount of days, and our kids kind of so they do 2 days in class and then 3 days at home. 3 days in class, 2 days at home. So they started last week. We started a little bit before you guys. And I've been super impressed that the teachers have sent nothing home for my children who have been at home, supposedly learning remotely. No assignments, no guidance. Thank you, public education system.
Wow.
My kids will be working at Quick Stop the remainder of their lives because they will not know how to tie their shoes or read.
Jeez.
And people, what irritates me is you go on the internet and like, it's always the people who don't have kids, that are making these comments like, well, you people decided to have kids and what? Now you can't spend time with them. It's like, no, I decided to have children and also provide for them. So I need to choose between feeding and clothing them or educating them. And then also, sir, I am not a teacher. I did not go to school to be a teacher. Maybe I am not best equipped to teach my child the fundamentals. I will aid them in any way that I can, but this is not a fair comparison. I get so mad with all the freaking comments out there.
Yeah.
So I have a really strong feeling that if this continues, obviously it's going to have to be kind of like it was last spring, where you work all day, and then we're spending 3 hours a night until the kids go to bed trying to get them to learn something because. Yep. I don't know. Like maybe understanding what the color blue is important. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Well, just say you're colorblind. It's fine.
That's true. But then they can't be fighter pilots. And that's what I really want. So.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm chalking it up to that was the first week. They're figuring it out. This is a short week. So next week they're going to have their shit together. But if they don't have their shit together by next week, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I'm genuinely afraid for my children's education.
Yeah. They gotta have some sort of plan in place, I would imagine. But
I would hope.
we're still full time.
See, I wish we had full time. Do they have to wear masks the full day?
I don't know what the rules are. There's some certain rules, but most of the pictures that I saw there, she wasn't wearing her mask, so they must have, their desks are really spaced apart too, and
sure
stuff like that. But I know it's based off like a certain percentage of positive rate in the county.
Okay.
Because if it goes above that, then we go to the hybrid thing like you guys have.
Yeah.
And then if it's over like 20%, then it's full remote. And yeah, I guarantee we're at like 9%. So I guarantee you pretty soon it'll be hybrid.
Too high.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny is like they announced because they offered hybrid to everyone and they offered full at home to everyone. But then they said, starting October 1st, all high school and middle school kids will be 100% home virtual because they were going to use those class spaces to do like booster learning for all the younger kids who need to pick up on those fundamentals. And they were going to like have like separate like pockets and like intensive groups, right? Like, great, my children need this. And then they announced this week, they're like, oh, guess what? We're not doing that. They can stay So now, like, they're scrambling to find places to educate the smaller children again.
Oh, no.
I mean, which that is a great decision to not be stupid about it for the high school and middle school kids. But now it's like, what are we doing with these little kids? Like, honestly, like, I'm really worried my kids are going to get to like 5th and 6th grade. And like, it's going to be bad because they missed out on like the basics.
Yeah. It's kind of a lost year for a lot of people, you know?
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. It's an interesting time to be a parent. It's an even more interesting time to be a kid. You know, and I guess like overall, I'm less concerned. Well, I'm concerned about what my kids are learning. We're trying, but like I'm more concerned about, you know, it's already so much different being a kid in 2020 before COVID. Like life is so much different. You're in a smaller community, so maybe for you it's a little more like on brand, but like to what we had. But I don't know. Like kids are just missing out. Like you need to be around kids. You need to be doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
You need to be able to get on your BMX bike and like make poor decisions. Maybe jump a ramp into the street. You know, that's kids don't have that. I don't get it.
Make sure you wear a mask before you jump.
Yeah, maybe don't. Maybe kids, if you're listening, don't jump your BMX bike into the street. So, but
yeah,
we did.
Oh yeah,
worked out great for me. Almost only got hit by a car like twice. It was fine.
Yep. We scored really big at a bike rodeo because we found a very not many people knew about it.
Well, back up. What's a bike rodeo?
It's basically like a community bike giveaway.
Oh, so it's not like a rodeo performed only on bikes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm less excited about this now. But please
that would be way better.
Yes.
No. No, this is pretty much just like a bike giveaway, and we were informed that there was not many people that were aware of it.
Okay.
So we put our kids' names in, and yeah, we won 2 bikes. So
nice.
Not bad.
Sweet. Like new bikes or like hand-me-down bikes?
No, brand new bikes.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now are they bombing the hill in front of the house?
Yeah, not yet, but I'm sure they'll learn.
You can help them build that ramp, right? Jump across the highway.
Right yeah, then as long as they don't land on the highway, it's fine.
Right. If you clear it, safe.
Yep.
That's pretty sweet. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. Right at end of summer, you know?
Yeah.
Time to put these brand new bikes away.
Ride them for 3 weeks, then forget that you have them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. That's pretty cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they need to work on their whole like marketing campaign for this bike rodeo. You'd heard of it.
Yeah.
Or not, and then you guys can keep your names in there for next year.
I'd have a secret like bike supplier pretty much at that point.
You're like hawking them on eBay, but like after you've scratched off of it, like I'm gonna get this Huffy off of here. You're like black permanent marker. Does Huffy still make bikes? Is that still a thing these days?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Have you ever done a cakewalk before?
Yeah, I have.
I used to be a master at that, like finding the odds of what the winner of a cakewalk is and putting my money in the right time. Won lots of cakes in my time.
See, and I was always the son of a bitch who never won a cakewalk. Like, so I always hated them. I'm like, screw that. I'm never playing them. Gonna win. I didn't know how to game the system like you.
Yeah. I was the kid that walked away with gigantic cake.
Were you a large child?
Husky, I think they called it.
People were so much more friendly in the 90s.
It was a lot more cake than walk. I'll tell you that.
That's the secret strategy, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet
what a weird concept.
I bet cakewalks don't come back after 2020. I'm just saying. They were already like questionable prior to COVID. I bet that is done socially.
Yeah.
From this point forward.
I wonder if that's just a Midwest thing or not. That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? I feel like it started out in like churches though, right? Like it was always like church events, and then like it's kind of spread to like other gatherings. Like I remember it being a few places, but yeah.
It's like Yeah. It's like, what do we do with 50 cakes? Got to come up with something.
You walk them. That's what.
Yep. Yep.
It's basically musical chairs. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, right? It's musical chairs with cake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
A
kind
little
of
less violent.
right. Yeah, there's no shoving. You're
Yeah.
in the right spot, or you're not. It's like musical chairs with bingo plus cake.
Mm-hmm.
We're there. It's a great concept. You know, that makes me think of like other like terrible like basement church games. Like, remember that? You ever do the one where it was like the stick with the string on it that was supposed to be the fishing pole and had like a paper clip,
Mm-hmm.
or like a not a paper clip, but you know the what do they call them? Clothespin, and then you throw
Yep.
it over a sheet, and like some guy would peek out and see if you're a boy or a girl, and like
They just put something on there.
stick some on the end. Like, whoa, I'm fishing. Nobody's seen that game in 20 years.
Yep. Oh, we did it last year.
Really?
Yeah, we got a old stuffed animal that smells really bad. Threw it away.
Win. Yeah, and there's some of the other classics like the mason jar with the chair above it, and then you just like kneel over it and try and drop like the clothespin in the mason jar.
Yep.
I have this really strong memory of a birthday party from first grade where I was at somebody's home, and the mother set that game up for all the kids to play and win prizes. And you know how like normally how those things go, like you just give everybody a prize anyway. And then like there was the one like spazzy kid who I'm pretty sure these days he'd be like ADHD or autistic or on the spectrum. And he clearly gave no craps and thought he was getting a prize anyway, so he just kind of like threw all the things. She's like, no, you didn't get one in there. You didn't win. You can't have it. And like just denied the kid the prize. Like this 50-cent like piece of crap prize. Like he went in the corner and bawled for the rest of this party. It was brutal.
Wow.
Still remember it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I kept my prize. It wasn't
Yeah.
even mine. I mean, I legit won. But
well, you did it right.
I guess. You have nerves of steel. Oh, wonderful games. I love these raffles. Yeah, what did bike raffle? Was that where we got to? Bike raffle, cakewalk, church basement games. Yep, that's the circle of life right there. Might be time to end the podcast, I think. Something tells me Nate's not going to make it.
No.
Unless you have anything else to add.
I don't think so.
Plumbers. You have plumbers.
Oh.
Plumbers.
Yeah, have you ever seen plumbers don't wear neckties? Like,
oh, the 3DO game?
Yes.
So you played through this, right? How was it?
I don't know if that was playing. Like, I'm pretty sure the whole game is maybe 7 button presses, maybe. So
it's more choose your own adventure than anything?
Oh, it's really bad. I can't believe that they put that out.
Do you get to see like softcore porn at the end of it, like for all your hard work?
No, it's all censored.
Oh.
So like, yeah, at the beginning, it shows these two people, that a guy and a girl, and you see their whole morning routine and showering, and yeah, there's none of that. They just censor everything on it, so it's like you're not getting that, which I thought was the whole point of that game in the first place. But
right, yeah, I thought it was like the adult content appeal,
yeah,
like the skis appeal.
No, there's none of that. It's just some terrible writing, and it's like all stop motion, or it's just pictures. It's not actual video.
So how long does like the longest playthrough take on that?
I think I spent a half hour with it.
And you went through like multiple scenarios?
I went through 3, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Before I found the one that got you pretty much to the end, I think. And it was, yeah, it's amazing that they sold that for, I think it was $60. And
yikes.
it's basically a PowerPoint presentation. Like it's.
Well, that opening like cut or like title screen is just like,
oh yeah,
clip art 95. I mean,
yeah,
that's bad.
There's some stuff in there that at one point there's like a narrator that joins in halfway through the story, and then a different girl comes in and like beats up the narrator and takes over the narrator spot. And then she starts talking about how this is such a sexist game, and
Really?
women need to really, better themselves or whatever. And then the old narrator comes back and shoots her because of
What?
those stuff.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
that
like it's
doesn't
some
fly.
stuff like, yeah, I don't know if you could do that anymore. And then yeah, just straight up murdered for being a feminist. And yeah, that's kind of where that game is. There's one spot in there where they do like a outtake, like the guy messes up the word and they just leave it in. Like the
Do
whole
they
crew's
laugh about it?
laughing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like, take it from the top, and it's just like, what the hell?
Wow. And what does that game go for these days?
I sold it for $115.
Holy crap! I think you picked it up for like what, 60
Yeah,
back at
something
the.
like
I
that.
mean, many years ago now, but
Yeah.
because I was still in like the old MGC in the tent, I remember. Because I
Yeah.
think you got that one, and then I bought a PAL game off that guy, and I was all excited about it. And then 3 stops later, I was talking to somebody like, "Oh yeah, that's a PAL game." I'm like, "Son of a bitch, can't play this at all." Yeah, that's crazy. At least you got to like experience it finally, though.
Yeah.
Not
I
that it's
always
probably
wanted
worth it.
to, but just never spent the time on it. But
That's awesome. Should have done a played to order.
yeah, that would have been bad. You could actually, because YouTube has those, right? Like you click the buttons for different things. So like you could set that up to just build the game on a YouTube video.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Would you want to, and would people want it though?
Yeah.
That's the big question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
People are
Yeah,
paying a lot of money for it though.
it's
I
crazy.
don't know why.
The nerd probably helped with that substantially.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did this, right?
Yeah, he did it like way back in the day, like original, like 3 series. Like he was early on, so
Yeah.
kind of got its reputation from there.
Yeah. Like a lot of those, yeah. Yeah.
Well, with that, do we wrap it up?
Yeah.
You got this?
I think so. If you want to follow us, send any emails to us. Follow it's weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. Please send us some messages. All of our podcasts are also available on geekade.com, as well as a lot of other geeky related material. And I think that's all we got. So be kind, rewind.
Limited.
It's game time.
Pro Stars!